Hey, y'all. Welcome to the From Surviving to Thriving podcast. You know, the place where we take the veil off and pull the curtains back on our everyday lives. I'm your host, Jackie. Today's episode is a super exciting episode. Today, I have somebody special to me here with me. I have my best friend, Tamara. Tamara and I have been friends for 22 years?
Yeah.
Yep, 22 years. We met in college, and it's been an experience since.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to discuss lifelong friendships. We'll talk a little bit about what our journey to 40 is looking like, and then, of course, everything else in between. All right?
Sounds good.
Welcome to the show, Tamara.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So let's tell the people where we are, first of all, because as you can see, those words in Spanish definitely let you know that we're not at my house. We're not in America. Where are we?
We're in Costa Rica.
Yes. So this is my first time in Costa Rica. It's your first time too.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's both of our first time here in Costa Rica. How's it been for you so far?
It's been good. It's just our second day, so we're just getting into it. So I'm super excited about our adventures, what we're going to see. We tasted a little food, got some rooftop in this morning, so it's been good.
Good to know. So why are we here, really?
We are celebrating this great milestone of us turning 40. I'm turning 40 this month. You're turning 40 next month, so we're here to celebrate.
I can't wait.
I know.
You're definitely looking forward to 40, aren't you?
I am. It feels like a new chapter that needs to, like a shell that needs to come off. So, yeah.
So you're embracing it. You're not afraid of it.
No, I'm embracing it for sure.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to do is kind of take it back a little bit before we start talking about what are now.
Okay.
Before I start talking about her now, let's take some steps back to 22 years ago.
Okay.
To old Jackie and old Tamara.
Okay.
So I'll give my version of how we met, and then you can chime in with how you believe we met.
Okay. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Perfect. So my version of this story is we met at Lincoln University in 2000. Lincoln Pride. Even though I didn't graduate from there, but okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we met freshman year in college, and we both ran track. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the common thing that joined us together. Mm-hmm. And I think my first impression of you was, oh, she's so cute. She's so pretty, but she got a smart ass mouth. That was most people, I would say most people's impression of you. Mm-hmm. But regardless of that, I feel like there was something that drew us together. Mm-hmm. And I feel like whatever it was just continued to keep us together. And maybe we can explore some of those reasons today while we talk. But what's your version of how we met?
My version of how we met, of course, like you said, LU. We were in the same dorm. And we were almost across from each other, maybe like catty corners. So we were together for track and in the dorm and so on and so forth. My first impression was, this girl has a chip on her shoulder. Like, you just seem so upset. But you were still nice to the people that were around you. You were nice, but you had a chip on your shoulder. So it's interesting hearing, I have a smart mouth and you have a chip on your shoulder. How does this connect? So it'll be interesting for us to unpack that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because that's a very weird combination of personalities.
Very dominant personalities.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. This is going to be interesting. So how do you believe we're different people now than we were back then?
I would say you have definitely healed in a lot of areas. You are still that giving, loving person you were back then, but you have let a lot of stuff fall by the wayside.
Don't be starting this, okay? Do you guys have tissues? I know I'm like talking, breaking the third wall. Do we have tissues? Because I'm going to need some.
So you have definitely had growth in that area. For me, I think my thing was rejection. I do a lot better with rejection. I would not, if I knew someone would say no, I'm not going to ask. I would have you, can you call Sprint and ask them if I could have an extension on my bill while we were in college? So it's like, if they say no, what do you mean? So I think in those two areas, I would say we definitely have grown in those spaces.
Yeah, I can 100% agree on that. I think where I see your area of growth is just the fact that when you first came to Lincoln, I think you were, I want to say, more innocent and sheltered and not maybe, like you said, vocal in a sense of standing up for yourself. Yeah, you had a smart mouth, but it was more like now you can advocate for you, you know? So and then also just watching the maturity that comes with being a mother, and I don't know, I love it. I feel like the transition for both of us has been like, what do you call it? The butterfly.
The butterfly effect.
Yeah. Like, I think that is literally what kind of depicts what our growth and our transition has been over the last 22 years. And I'm so excited to see it for both of us.
Absolutely.
All right. So what do you think keeps our bond as strong as it is? What do you think keeps it like that?
We accept each other for who we are, good, bad, or indifferent. We're able to see each other. We can talk through those tough times and talk through the good times. And that open communication, I think communication is a huge thing when it comes to any type of relationship. So if you can work through those things, it's like addressing the elephant in the room. You can get past these things. So I think that's what really helps, is that we're pretty good communicators on both ends, is what kind of keeps us together.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. But I also feel like there's a level of trust that we have for each other, that you're looking out for my best interest and I'm looking out for your best interest.
Yeah.
So when I come to you with something and you say X, Y, or Z and vice versa, you know that it's an honest, you know, it's coming from a good place. I don't ever have to question, do you have an ulterior motive?
Right. Because it's out there nowadays. It's like, okay, do you have my best interest at heart? Like, can I trust that what you're saying is going to benefit and help me develop or grow?
Exactly.
So, indeed, I agree with that.
So thinking back to college days, since that's where this all started, do you have like a fond memory of... I know there's probably a lot, but do you have at least one memory that sticks out from college that you want to share?
I'll say it's a funny moment. I'll share a funny moment. So this was back before we all went natural and stuff like that. This is in the perm days. So y'all remember double pack perms. So we came together and we purchased this perm box. One of our other good friends, Ashley, she was helping me take my hair out, my braids, and she cut my hair. So you thought it was the funniest thing. And so you kept making jokes in the calf. And I'm like, okay, you think it's funny my hair is messed up? You ain't getting a perm today. I slid you your money underneath your door along with a note. And I said, laugh at this. You still thought that was hilarious. So that was a fond memory. It was like traumatizing. I'm like, my hair is cut. What are you laughing at?
It was
but
not
you weren't
that bad.
laughing. It was bad.
It was not that bad.
It was
But if it was the other way around, would you have laughed at me?
No. Why would I laugh that your hair is cut? That's crazy. That's terrible.
I don't believe you. I do not.
I laugh at a lot of inappropriate stuff. I do have a dark sense of humor. I will say that. But I would not laugh. I'd be like, damn, she cut your hair? What happened?
I feel like you would have laughed.
We'll never know.
She would have laughed at me. Let's move on to some of the more interesting things that has happened to us, like some of the milestones that we've reached over the years. 22 years, I'm sure you know we've had a lot of ups, downs, wins, losses, heartbreaks, loves. Let's dive into that.
Okay.
Give me one of your big life events that, you feel our friendship, like whether it's the kids or, my marriage or whatever, where you felt like our friendship was strong enough to, I guess, support each other through whatever it was that was happening in our lives.
Um, I want to say this was actually before the kids and the marriage and stuff. This would have been the transition from Lincoln to you were supposed to come to IUP and things like that. So I would say just being supportive and, you moving to Pittsburgh and us starting at PNC Bank together and, just enduring that part of your journey and just having your back, making sure you're good and things like that. I would say like that was very pivotal because that was a vulnerable time in your life. And it's like, okay, how can I be support? Like, what can we do? Like, we still were rocking and rolling. So I think that really was a big thing that happened that kind of brought us together too. Like, we've lived in 3 states. Was it 3? Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Georgia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 3 states together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Like,
Yeah.
when you go back and you think through, like, all the things that we've experienced over the years, it's so crazy. But, yeah, like, bringing up Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
When I wanted to move out of Delaware, of course, I'd moved to Pennsylvania, but went back to Delaware. But when I finally stepped away from Delaware, kind of for good, I would say, my first crash pod was your living room in Virginia, that tiny little apartment in, what is it called? Shockoe Bottom?
Shockoe Bottom. Yep, we were downtown. Yep, my 1 bedroom.
Yep, I crashed there with you for probably like a month or so. And to me, that also shows the type of friendship that we have where we can depend on each other to be there to support each other through whatever we're dealing with in our life. And even with, you being a mom and the kids, your kids are my kids. So, I love the relationship that I have with the kids.
Yeah, I'm definitely appreciative and grateful for that connection that you have with all 3 of my kids. Like, definitely speaks volumes. So,
yeah, I love them. They're my babies. All right. So can you think of any of the mistakes that we've made, like in our friendship, that we've healed from or grew from that, you want to share?
I would say maybe my transition to Georgia when I came and stayed at your house. So you purchased a brand new house, fresh out the box, and you were ready to move to Florida. So I came and stayed at your house, and the goal was for me to purchase. But, of course, I didn't have the financial literacy and the savings and things like that. So still with some immature moves on my end, there was like the breakdown of, hey, this is business, this is friendship. And it was like business was not being taken care of. So therefore that kind of put a wedge between us because on my end, it's like, hey, I'm struggling. I got these kids. What you mean? And on your end, you're like, this is separate. This is business. Business is business. And it's like, I can understand that definitely, from a business standpoint. So I would say that was a part of our friendship that kind of had a wedge later in life.
Yeah, I think that's the same experience for me because I don't think we've really had much other like situations where there was like any rift or anything like that. I think that was like the pivotal point where we had to figure out, okay, what's going on here and why is this happening? Exactly. But I think, like you said earlier, whenever it's still, I feel like it was still like that rejection thing where something isn't going to possibly go in your favor, but you don't bring it up or discuss it. But there's growth there, and that's the main, that's the main part of all of this is the fact that our friendship, we were able to survive that, move past it, and now we can look back and be like, this is where the missteps were, and
exactly,
we can do better now and talk through things. And now I don't feel like you have an issue coming to me and saying anything like that anymore, which I think that kind of fixed whatever that issue was that we had before, because I'm always going to have your back. If I can support you in any way, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you say business is business, and I'm sorry, like, it doesn't even matter who it is.
Oh, I know.
I'm very matter of fact when it comes to certain things. Like, I can tolerate and work through things, but when it comes to business, it's like, okay, this is what this is, and this is what this isn't.
And you've always been mature in that area, and I would think because you had to grow up very quickly, where some people they can be teenagers and live in that teenage life. Like, you were pretty much like an adult as a teenager. So even when we met you, we're like, she doing this, doing that. You know, you're sending stuff back home to family. I'm still in my selfish ways. Like, what do you mean you're sending these clothes back home? Huh? What? That sound crazy to me. So it's like, okay, I got it. So you were wise and more mature beyond your years before all of us, a lot of us around.
Yeah. I guess that comes with with the territory. I always felt like a mama bear anyway, but yeah.
Exactly.
So what kind of lessons would you say we've learned about love?
Get out, psych. I'm just kidding. For me, I would say don't overstay your welcome. Just because you love something or someone doesn't mean that it's going to be beneficial to you. You know, everything has seasons, or, it can just be a pit stop in your journey. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to stay there. Like, cherish it while you have it, but that doesn't mean linger in that space for me.
That makes sense. I can definitely agree on that. And I know I've said this in another podcast episode, but when it comes to love, I always bring up the fact that Miss Pat, Angel's mom, told me, if it don't fit, don't force it. And I think that applies to every part of our lives. So not just love. In that case, she was talking to me about love and her son.
Yeah.
But that could apply to anything else.
Absolutely.
So in that sense, how does or what have you learned about life as well?
As far as life, that's so wide ranged. For me, I like to enjoy the moment. It doesn't matter if my world is crashing down. I will take a moment to deal with it. If I can't fix it, I'm moving on to the next thing. Eventually, that idea or that problem solver, it will come to light, but I can't stay stuck in that moment. Like, I had something huge happen to me, what was it, over the summer, last summer. And, I took a lot of chunk of my day and I tried to solve the problem. And once I got to a dead end, I went to a pool party that night. And some people are like, how could you do this? Like, this big thing is happening. And I said, well, I've done all that I can do. Do you want me to sit here and be upset and keep crying or whatever? No, I'm going to move on. I want to be happy. I genuinely like to be happy. So I do not like to stay in a funk. So that's something I'm very big on for myself with life.
And I absolutely love that about you, because I have been the opposite for a long time. And I think a lot of what I've learned about life, and I've learned a lot about life over these almost 40 years, but I think I learned a lot last year. And it's to take care of myself first. Like, I know that probably sounds a little bit selfish coming out like that, but technically,
It's not.
if I can't take care of myself, how can I be of service or anything else to anyone else?
What do they say on the airplane? Put on your own.
mask
Yep,
first.
put on your own life vest first, and then you start to help the next people.
Yeah. And the fact that I'm on a plane all the time, I should already know this. And yes, that is one of those things that I had to learn the hard way. So if there's anything that I am carrying throughout the rest of my life now is to make sure that I'm prioritizing myself and I'm taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only one me.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. So I'm with you on that.
All right. So what is it that you think you've learned about money?
Oh, that it come and go. No kidding. So I would say I just spoke about the financial literacy. And like I said, I didn't have it at the time when I thought I was ready to buy a house. Like I would use the words like, yeah, I want to buy a house. Yeah, I want to do this. But it's like I didn't have the discipline to get there. It's like I can say it all day, but what was I doing to get there? So eventually when I buckled down, I learned how to actually save. I learned what this looks like to fix my credit and things like that. So, and then I did buy a house. I think it's in 2019. So maybe a year or two after I moved out of your place, I was able to purchase my own. So that's great. My first starter home.
Yes. So proud of you for that.
Thank you. And so it's just really taking the time and doing a deep dive. And then just because you get more money doesn't mean you know what to do with the money. So if you learn how to save when you have a little amount, once you get that big amount, you'll have that same discipline. So something I often say to people, when the stimulus checks were coming out, everyone's like, well, how is this person spending it on XYZ? And it's like, well, they did that with the money that they had before. This is all they know. So you cannot judge them or fault them because that's all that they know, right? So that's my thoughts on that.
When it comes to money, I definitely feel like I think my perspective have changed a little bit now. I think early on in life, I was always go to school, get a good education, get the good job, excuse me, make the money. And I felt like I did that. And I got to a level where I was making great money. I could take care of myself, go on trips, I could take care of the kids, I could send it. Like I was doing really, really well financially. And then I decided I don't want to do that work anymore. I want to have my own businesses and I want to, do the things that make me happy and that fulfills whatever it is that life purpose is for me. And what I've realized is that my life purpose doesn't necessarily come with those same figures and those direct deposits and stuff like that. But I feel like the intrinsic parts of what I do make me continue to do it. And I'm not driven so much anymore by what my bank numbers look like versus are all my bills paid? Good. Am I happy? Yes. Can I travel still? Yeah. Okay, then I'm good.
And that's a big transition because you are a worker bee. Like from the time I've met you, like you are a worker bee, and it's like, okay, just step away. Just it's okay. So I'm on the other end of the spectrum where it's like I just desire to have a 9 to 5 where I can fund the things that I enjoy doing. I do not want to be a team lead, a manager, or anything like that. Not at this time. Now, maybe once my kids are older, but I just want to enjoy life. So it's like, however that looks, I do not want to manage anyone but my family, and that's it. So I'm just like, I mean,
I don't blame you though, and I think that's where I'm at in life now. Because even with me living in Jamaica, the lifestyle that I used to envision, like the big house and the luxury cars and all that stuff, like that. I've had all of it before 40, and now I'm almost at 40, and I'm like, I really don't care so much for those things anymore because it's like been there, done that. Now I want the happiness, the peace of mind, the modest house that's comfortable. So I definitely think my perspective has shifted on what is really important when it comes to money.
Yeah.
All right. Can you share what your perspective is on motherhood?
Ooh, okay. Motherhood. So as you know, I've always wanted to be a mom. when we met in college, I'm like, hey, I want to be married by 25, a kid by 27, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I had it mapped out. Wedding colors, everything was mapped out. Got a kid at 27. And then then turned 28 the next month. But the marriage didn't come yet. I still desire to be married. But as far as motherhood, something that rang near and dear recently was that the mother I thought I would be is not the mother that I am. And it's because the dynamics that I would have liked to have built around that, this lifestyle doesn't allow it because I have to play all parts. So it's like where I want to be this soft mom, sometimes it's like, no, you got to play all these different hats, and it makes it difficult. And sometimes that sucks. That's a hard pill to swallow because it's like, I enjoy being a mom. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that sucks. But I enjoy traveling with my children. I enjoy the activities. Like, it's very fulfilling, and I wouldn't change it.
I love that. But that's something that I know that you, again, desired from the time that I've known you. So watching you being a mom, like, I don't know, I love it. I love watching you mother the kids, and you're taking them here and you're taking them there. And sometimes I wonder, like, how the heck do you, like, pull that off? Because I'm the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. I've never really had that same feeling of, oh, I have to, or, my life isn't complete if I'm not a mother. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We're so opposite in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that the dynamic works because I don't desire to have children, but I love kids. Mm-hmm. But then I get to love on your kids.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely polar opposites. Mm-hmm. Yeah, since I met you, you're like, nope, I don't want kids. And I'm like, what do you mean?
It's a no for me, dog. What's his name from American Idol? It's a no for me, dog.
Oh, yeah. Yep, what's his name? Not Simon, but the black guy.
Yes.
Shoot, I can't even think.
I can't think
It'll
of his
come
name
later
either.
on.
Is this old age?
It is. Possibly.
This is what 40 does?
He's not in the forefront of our brain, so.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's do a little girl, remember that time when.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some hilarious or unforgettable moments that we may have had, whether it be from college days or recent times or adult life. Okay. So let's hear some more hilarious moments that we've shared over the years. Keep it clean.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't embarrass me.
Okay. Well.
Remember when the girl put bleach in such and such face wash?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that story?
Is that when you stormed across campus and... No? Oh.
That was...
Or that was a different time?
Oh!
I'm asking. I'm trying to remember.
How many times have I stormed across campus?
Oh, more times than I can probably remember. Remember, you had a chip on your shoulder. You would put on that hoodie and shoulders up.
That was my blue Aeropostale oversized hoodie, and it said Aero.
Yes.
A-E-R-O on the front.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where it is.
You probably still have it. Fun fact, you keep everything. You're not a hoarder because you're very organized, but you keep everything.
I have selective... I don't want to say hoarding because it's not.
No, it's not.
I don't like clutter.
No.
But there's certain things that holds sentimental value or I really enjoy or I really like and I can't let it go.
Right.
And I just keep them forever. So, yeah, I wish I still had that hoodie because there's so much memories on
You don't need it.
Lincoln's campus.
You don't need it. We can just talk about the memories. You don't need it. We don't need that cape on you. But yeah, I think that's the time when you stormed across campus. And is that when you bleached the girls' clothes? No? Okay.
Well, we all we don't want to implicate ourselves in crimes after the fact. I know it's been like 20. The statutes of limitations are gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the time where I did some very harmful things. But I was in a dark place, and I wasn't me, and I poured bleach all over that girl's clothes. But it was bleach for bleach. It was like
because she put in her skincare,
face wash and body wash, bleach on your clothes.
And that was you defending a friend. So she couldn't stand up for herself, so you stood up for her.
Which, in hindsight, I think that that's a big problem for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I now, ever since last year, I think that's a lesson that I've learned. And I think my sister had a lot to do with this too. I do have a tendency to want to protect and defend the people that I love and care about. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, she was more than capable of standing up for herself. But she probably really liked having someone else do her dirty work.
I don't think she was capable.
You don't think so? Mm-mm. I would disagree.
I don't.
You really think the role that she was playing was really like her?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Hands
what makes
down.
you think that?
Because just looking, even if you look back and just see the person's life, of course we're not as close as we used to be, but any circle that she's in, like I just think that's who she is.
I honestly
think about what her family was doing for her and things like that. Like, it's almost like a baby mindset. So if you always have someone protecting you, you never had to protect yourself, and you probably don't know how to do it. So I don't think that she was capable. Just my thoughts. I can be wrong.
I don't know why, but I kind of feel like but I definitely can see your perspective. And another instance of me like doing that again with my old roommate.
Oh, yeah. What happened with that? So when you fought the girl in the room, those were some times, I tell you.
As little as I was, because I'm literally like 5'3". And at that point, when I started college, I might have been 115 pounds soaking wet.
Max, yeah.
I must have, like, you know what it is, though?
What?
I have the Hulk persona. Like, my old coworker from Wilmington Trust, she used to call me the Hulk.
Oh, God.
And she's never even, that's very intuitive, though, because she's never seen me, like,
in that,
rip that thing out and go crazy like that. So it's very interesting that she could spot that trait in me. But that's literally like a very good example of who the inner Jackie was at that point in time. I was just so angry. So anything that I thought was like an injustice or somebody that was smaller getting trampled on, like I was ready to rip that cape or shirt open and go crazy.
One last funny moment. It was, so college students be broke. And you remember we went to eat and there was someone else with us. So we had enough money for our food, but we couldn't help our friend. So we took a strand of hair.
We're going to jail.
You going to jail. No, just that's how it is. You going to jail. And we took the hair and put it in the food. So she ate whatever she needed to eat. And then we put it in and said, oh, there's hair in here. So that we didn't have to pay for her food because we were poor. But we really, what was it, Red Lobster? And that was fancy back then.
Oh my God.
We've evolved. I wouldn't suggest anyone doing that. That's terrible.
No, don't do that. That's actually like stealing.
It is.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That was a bad thing to do. Yeah. We're not advising that. There was something else that came to my mind and it slipped just now. Hopefully it'll come back though.
Okay.
So if you could think about what our 20 or 30 something year old selves would say to us now that we're approaching 40? What do you think? 20-year-old Jackie or 20-year-old Tamara? I'll tell you what 20-year-old you might say or 30-year-old you might say, and then you tell me what you think Jackie
Okay.
would say
Okay.
to our 40-year-old selves. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You can start it.
Hello, whose show are we on?
The Jackie Show.
I'm interviewing you. You go first.
Excuse me. Look, we ain't going to argue in front of the people like we typically do.
All day, every day.
I'll be good.
Okay.
I would say everything is going to be okay. Because I think you would fear of what could happen, and you tried to put these controls in place to prevent certain things. So it's like sometimes you just have to let things happen. You can't control everything. So just let it happen and you'll grow through it. So I think that's what you would say.
Okay. I would say 20-year-old or 30-year-old Tamara would tell 40-year-old Tamara that, you know, you still have the time to fall in love and, you know, enjoy that relationship that is out there for you, and that them kids, enjoy your kids. You're a great mom. You're gonna do great. So I think they could tell you already knew, though. I feel like you already knew the type of mother that you could be, and just supporting you in that, like, yeah, girl, you got this.
Okay.
But that love's out there. I feel it.
Me too. Love is in the air.
All right. So the next thing that I want to touch on a little bit is us being Black women going into our 40s. I know that sometimes there is a lot of stigma around certain things that happens when it comes to Black women. So let's say, from your perspective as a Black woman about to turn 40, what has changed now that we are at this point in our life? What do you think has changed as Black women?
Something that's changed for me is mindset as far as health. Because you and I, we ran track for a long time, you know, of our lives and things like that. But one thing about me, I do not like working out. But I know health is wealth. So I started this journey to 40 as to like starting to work out and mentally getting myself together, whether that's meditating or reading a book. I did do the 75 soft challenge. And I did not make it to the end, but I made it very close. But I did continue. I picked back up. But it was like life was kind of lifing. The kids were sick. It was like during the Christmas break and things like that. So I didn't get to finish, but I did pick back up and start working out again and things like that. So I would say I see we are more youthful. We are, as Black women, are putting ourselves first. We're not settling and staying in those bad spaces that you would see when we were younger. And it's like, even just taking care of ourselves, I just see that more in our society now than back then. 40, when I looked when I was younger, 40 was like, oh God, they look old. Some people don't have their teeth. You know, they're losing hair. Like, they looked 60, 70.
They were going
40.
through some things back then.
I know.
Yeah.
I understand that. But it's much more youthful now, and it's a pleasurable experience, and I'm not fearful going into it. So that's what I would say.
What do you think that shift is? Was it more so a mindset shift, do you think? Or do you think it was more like society and culture in general that just made us transition to this more relaxed and, you know, healthier way of moving into aging?
I would say society, because it definitely plays a big part, especially social media. You're seeing these things, even if it is that you see a 30-second clip on Instagram of someone, get ready with me. You're seeing this very small part of this woman's life, and you're like, oh, I want to do that, or I can pick up this routine, and you're moving in that space. So I would definitely say our society and social media definitely plays a huge part for me.
Okay. So what do you think people should understand more? And I'm not speaking about Black women at this point, but like people that are outside of us. What do you think that they should understand about us in this space, considering some of the things that, yeah, there's the positive things on social media, but there's also the negative stigmas of, you know, like when a Black woman is at a certain age and they're unmarried, or, you know, they don't have children, or, you know, whatever the case is. What do you think they need to understand about us?
I just feel like everything isn't for everyone, and you can't compare apples to oranges, even myself to yourself. Like, you and I have been friends for years, and we have two different outlooks on a lot of things. So what fits for me does not fit for you, and vice versa. Like you said, the cookie cutter, like, if it doesn't fit, just move on. You just have to know that cultures are different. Everything's not going to fit.
I can understand that fully. Now, any advice that we could give to women that are coming to this phase of their life about what it is to transition towards 40, as far as friendships and, you know, relationships, just life lessons?
I would say embrace it. And like I said, don't be fearful going into it. Definitely come up with a plan as to what will make you happy, and visit some of those traumas, because healing is definitely important, because you just don't want to carry these things with you to the next chapter, the next step. It will make life a lot easier if you start to deal with those things. And you're not always going to be able to do it on your own, so I definitely say therapy. That's my advice for sure.
Yeah, I can piggyback off of that and say, for me, even when I was turning 30, like, I felt like I wanted to walk into that new decade with certain things addressed from childhood, or, you know, just life in general and relationships. But this time, last year, when I was 39 and I was looking to, what does 40 look like for me? Like, how do I walk into that next decade of my life? Do I leave all these bags behind that I've been dragging for years? You know, so for sure, my advice would be to make sure that you figure out who you are. Because as crazy as it sounds, a lot of us walk around and we think that we know who we are as people, and we don't know who we are until we actually find out who we are. So it took for me to go through therapy. It doesn't mean that that's the same for everyone. Again, same shoe don't fit everybody, but therapy was what I needed. And through therapy, I was able to figure out who I am, what I wanted out of life, what was my purpose, you know, what drives me, what makes me happy. And the things that used to make me happy in my 30s and my 20s no longer make me happy.
Exactly.
So I do think figuring out who you are and what you want out of life and what makes you happy and what your purpose is important before you step into, whether it's 30 or 40, to be honest. I do feel like those formative zeros, those are good points to take a step back, reflect, figure out what your next moves are, and then make them.
Yeah. And if you don't come up with them at that time, don't just stay stagnant in that space. Still keep moving forward, because, you know, when people don't meet deadlines or goals and things like that, you know, they just feel like, all right, let me give up. Just like with my 75 soft challenge, you know,
Can you speak on what that 75 soft challenge is? Because most people might not know.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying, you know, 75 hard. So hard sounds like, oh my goodness, you're almost dreading it. So someone that was leading a group of women, her name is Kay. She's someone who used to train me maybe a couple years ago. She came up with a 75 soft challenge, and it was one of those things where we had to read daily. We had to work out at least 5 times a week. And our water intake. So those are the things that we had to do. And even on your days off, even if you do some type of fitness, maybe walking or things like that, that's what we had to do. And we had accountability partners, so we would have to check in. I had to send a picture. So my workout time was at 5 a.m. I had to send a picture every morning at 5 a.m. of myself, front, back, and side, and that way you can see your progress. So that really helped, because you don't want to keep seeing a picture where you look the same and you're sending it to somebody. No. So, but it was very good. And then even we ate more clean and things like that. So it was like, hey, what are you guys eating for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And we just was that for each other. And even when let's say you messed up, hey, this, encouraging each other to get back on track. So it was very, very beneficial. So that was a part of the 75 soft challenge that we were doing. So shout out to Kay with that. But like I said, if people don't meet their deadlines for that 30 or 40 mark, still keep going. You might have some time off or a breakdown. Keep moving. Grow through that journey. It will be okay.
Absolutely. I mean, I wish I had I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it. I'm like, I wish I had an accountability partner to help me stay in the gym, because I did it. I think my last episode was about fitness and stuff into your 40s, because we've been athletes. Like and then I used to be really, really like a gym rat, and then had the injury and stuff. But I'm not gonna say I love to work out. Let me stop. I love what the gym does for my body, which makes me like doing it and going to the gym. But what I have realized is that nowadays it is a lot more difficult to continue to push myself to go.
Yes.
Like, as you get older, you have to put more effort into making sure that you stay in shape.
Yes.
And if it's one thing that I am going to do, I may slip up and I may fall off the wagon here and there, but I always get back on.
Right. And it's difficult. And like I've mentioned, I have 3 children. What is it? 12, soon to be 11, and 2.5 going on 3. So finding that time as a single parent, it's a lot. And then they're in 3 different schools, different activities. Then I have to make time for myself. So I understand that, people are like, oh, this is difficult. It is difficult, because who wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out? Not me. Especially you got to get them up at 6 and you start your day. Then you still have to go to work. So it's almost like work before work. But I make it happen, and I'm truly proud of myself as I enter into 40.
I'm absolutely proud of you. I know I've been to the gym with you one time
at 5. Yep,
was that
5 a.m.
o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I ain't doing that no more.
But
it's hard.
It's hard. It is very hard.
Especially since I don't go to bed early enough
to
get
to
up
bed
at
early.
Well, I know you
9:30. I'm asleep. Phone on silent.
That's what happens when you have children.
That's exactly right.
Me, it's be like 2 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, I should probably go to sleep now. Yeah, I need to do better. That's something else that I put on my list of things. Like, I need to start working on sleeping, because obviously the older we get, the more our body needs
that's
sleep.
when you recover, That's when you reset.
All right, so let's jump into 21 questions, okay?
Okay.
Because we remember 21.
50 Cent?
Well, 50 Cent. And where did we spend your 21st birthday?
Oh, in Florida. Orlando?
No.
Where were we? Vegas. Oh, yeah.
You don't remember?
But remember, we did do Orlando, and I was 21.
So
you
how
weren't
did we end up
21
in
yet.
Vegas?
I don't know.
Did we go after?
Yeah. Because you were 21 once we got there, because you were able to drink. Yeah. But in Orlando, you weren't able to. So it had to be my birthday for Orlando.
Maybe we did Vegas for my birthday.
Possibly.
And yeah.
That's
I think
what
we did Orlando for your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Because I'm like, I remember we went out and you couldn't drink at the table. But yeah. See? I remember.
I've been drinking my entire life. Like, when you're Jamaican, you drink, okay?
And I started when I was almost 21. Yeah, I was acting crazy in college. Anyway, sorry.
That sounds very judgmental.
No, it was a good time.
It was a
Y'all
fun
just made
time.
me not want to drink.
Yeah, I remember you can't even take a shot for your
Still
life.
can't take a shot. Anyway.
So we're going to do 21 questions.
Okay.
All right. So spontaneous road trip or planned luxury vacation?
Planned vacation for sure.
Okay. I'm a planned luxury vacation.
I don't like road trips.
I could do a road trip, but I don't think I want to.
I get car sick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just luxury vacation just sounds amazing.
That part.
Planned luxury vacation for me, please.
Yes.
Laugh until you cry or cry until you laugh?
Laugh until I cry. That's my norm. And you are what? Cry until you laugh.
Why? Because I'm a Cancer?
No, because you're more emotional than I am. And
So why can't I laugh until I cry? It asks me what would I prefer.
all right,
this
what would
or
you prefer?
that?
Because I feel like it's releasing for you. But go ahead, answer. I'm sorry.
I mean, I am a crybaby, but I would prefer to laugh until I cry because I have. It happened the other day when I was at your house. I was in the living room dying over a social media video, and Morgan's just looking at me like
you were crazy.
Okay. It's like, it was funny.
Okay.
Matching tattoos or matching outfits for a day?
Matching outfits. First of all, you know I'm the queen of a matching outfit.
Yes.
Listen,
I can't wait to insert some of them in here.
It's bad. It's real bad. And I am, for anybody who might want to date me, yes, I do matching couples outfits. We'll be cute. Our swimsuits, outfits. It just doesn't start with Christmas pictures. It's all of it.
That is a fact. I cannot wait to put them in this video.
As long as you don't put him in it.
We'll put a smiley face over his face.
I hate that. With social
Or we'll
media.
put a sad face, or
Oh,
we'll just black
Lord.
it out.
Okay.
Whatever works.
Okay. Photoshop works. All right. What you prefer? Tattoo.
I would say matching tattoos.
I know.
Okay. Staying with wine and movies or out dancing until 2 a.m.?
Wine and movies. Sorry.
Okay.
What's it for
Definitely
you?
want to stay. You have to ask
I'm just.
because I'm a homebody.
I
I
know.
would rather be in with wine in a movie. I don't have to go outside.
Oh, I do.
Everything in the house is everything is that I need is at the house. I don't have to go outside if I don't have to.
Okay. Only because you said wine is why I picked.
I don't even need the wine.
Oh,
I just need to stay in. Sold me.
Mm-mm.
That was all I needed to hear.
So if you would have said go out, happy hour R&B music, like with drinks, so
We know.
that's what I want to do for my 40th birthday on the actual day. Okay, go ahead. Next.
Relive your 20s or skip ahead to your 60s with wisdom and peace.
Relive 20s. I don't want to skip ahead in life. I don't necessarily want to go back either, but I would rather relive and make some better decisions.
That's a very good perspective. Like initially I was like, I don't mind being 60 and at peace because I got wisdom and I'm at peace. Those are two good combinations to have. And to be at the age of 60, that's a positive. That's
It
20
is.
years from now. So I wouldn't mind. I don't think I would want to go back into my 20s just because I feel like I've been there, done that, and I
Yeah.
don't want to do it again. Like,
Yeah, I don't
what-
want to skip out on life though. So that's too far in advance. So
Gotcha. All right. Forgive and forget or remember and protect your peace.
forgive and forget. Only because I had to learn how to forgive without an apology. And so that was a big growth moment for me back in maybe like 20s, in the 2000s, somewhere around there. Maybe when I was about 22 or something. And so I would say definitely forgive and forget, just move on. Because it's about you. It's not even forgiveness is for you, not the other person, because they do what they do or whatever happened and people move on. They're not thinking about how you feel a lot of times. So it's more about for you.
That's a pretty tough one, to be honest, just because I don't know. I feel like memories, and I feel like the things that happen to you make you the person that you are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I would be Jackie if I didn't live Jackie's life experiences, right? So I don't necessarily want to say remember and protect my peace either, but I do feel like it's important for me to not forget the things that I've experienced and just forget about them and move on. I kind of want to be able to remember them, but be at peace with them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like that's the point in my life where I'm at now, where a lot of the things that's happened, negative and positive, you remember them, but you're at peace with them. So I think that would be
that
my
peace
choice.
part, definitely. Someone once said to me, be at peace and not in pieces. That stuck with me.
That means you're healed.
Yes.
That is how you know that you are healed.
Absolutely.
Or healing.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I don't think there's a healed.
Only in spaces. You can say I'm healed in this space, but I think healing is a continuous
It's a
thing.
journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. Like, until the day that we leave this earth, we're going to be healing. It's always going to be something.
Because for me, I feel like I'm for the most part in a healed space for a lot of things, but then something can happen that triggers
Yep.
me, and I'm like, ouch, I feel that, even though it doesn't, the response that comes out of me is different because I am in a healed space, but the fact that it can still trigger me means that there is still something there.
Yep,
So
there's still work to be done in there.
I definitely feel like it's a journey more so than a destination. One perfect day together from the past, or 10 unknown adventures in the future.
10 unknown adventures for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I would go with that because you just never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And that's the excitement of it all.
I agree.
So as much as I love to plan things, I've also learned to kind of go with the flow a little bit with certain things nowadays too. And whatever comes. And I'm okay with that. So give me those 10 unknown adventures.
Absolutely.
And I'll take that.
Indeed.
All right. A text or a call? I know what you're going to say.
Call. I'm a talker. So it's like texting is like, I'll probably look at it and keep moving. But talking, I'll talk to people for hours on the phone. So absolutely.
What am I going to say?
Text.
Okay.
Even though people hold you hostage on the phone all the time, you're always on the phone, but it's not what you would prefer.
Correct. I love the fact that you put it as holding me hostage.
Because your phone hasn't stopped since we got here. I'm like, are you on vacation?
Kinda. I'm still working.
I see.
But yeah, I definitely prefer texting. Even though I don't mind picking up the phone and calling and talking to people. But I don't know. I don't think that, I mean, I guess I have a podcast, so I am a talker. But that's not usually my go-to. I'd rather just send you a text message and call it a day.
I'll probably ignore it most of the time.
All right. Heels or sneakers?
At this age, sneakers. I got 3 kids. I got to keep up. It's like, I'm good.
I'm with you. I mean, every now and then I do feel like
Dress
popping
up.
out in
Yeah.
a cute heel is good, but girl, no.
Not everyday life.
No.
You remember we were business casual going to the clubs? What?
Not anymore. Look, for the club here, I bought sandals. So if we go out for any sort of nightlife, there is not one pair of heel in my bag.
And only because you said that is why I didn't bring any, but I was at least going to bring like a cute wedge. But I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing sandals. So I didn't bring any, but I'm not going to wear a sneaker to the club, though. That's what I would do.
No, that's very casual. But I
Yeah.
feel like some sandals is, as a woman, is appropriate.
Yeah.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Oh, God, that's terrible. Why would you do that?
I know. Ouch. Pick one.
You trying to have me attacked.
Pick one. Because I'm going to pick one.
I know who you're going to pick.
I know you know who I'm going to pick, but go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Beyonce.
Why?
Because I had to think back to the catalog, right? Mm-hmm. This goes back to Destiny's Child. And I've been a fan like since. Now, unpopular opinion, I'm not a Cowboy Carter fan, but I am taking my daughters to the concert. I surprised them for an early birthday ticket, to take them in July. But it's like her catalog is really good. Like her music, it makes me feel good. It takes me back to make me feel like, oh my goodness, love. It takes me to those moments. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Rihanna. I was trying to go to the concert, one of her last concerts, while I was pregnant with the first baby, and you said no, you wouldn't go to the concert with me. And now we missed her, and we've never seen her in concert.
I take full responsibility for the fact that we have not seen Rihanna in concert. If we could spin the block, I probably would for that.
Mm-hmm. Because that was like the last time.
I just didn't think that we should be at a concert trying to turn up while you were, because you were far along.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But fast forward, you were okay with me being pregnant and traveling to Jamaica.
Yeah, that's different. Okay, first of all, let's clarify. Okay?
I'm listening.
I don't like crowds of people, and that's exactly what was going to happen.
You should have got me the box tickets. That was a thing.
I don't like crowds of people, and I felt like that was not a good environment to be in while you were pregnant. I was being protective, okay? I was being protective.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to be protected. I was okay with going. But it's okay.
I take responsibility for it. I wish we would have went because it would have been amazing. Because now we'll probably never get to see her
unless once her kids are older type thing or something. But she's embracing mommyhood.
We would go still. If she's like an older Rihanna doing like old stuff, I would still go and sing every single lyric.
Absolutely, because her stuff is on point.
Needless to say, I would have picked Rihanna for my question.
I know.
Yeah. Just in case the people was wondering, it would always be Rihanna. All right, stay quiet or clap back.
Clap back. Absolutely. Clap back.
When I was coming up with this last one, do you know which song came to my mind for you? When I just knew you would say clap back, by the way. But do you know which song?
Nuck If You Buck?
Yes!
It's my favorite college song. Like,
that was your ringtone.
Yes. You had a lot of ringtones for
you. Yeah, I did. But that was...
Yeah, that was my favorite college song. So to this day, I still love the song.
To be as little as you were and have a smart mouth and trying to clap back. Like,
listen.
You had like... That's some violent music right there. But we weren't even like violent people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would definitely say, for me, I don't know if I could stay quiet about things. Mm-hmm. It's not really in my nature. Like, I'm a protector. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say something. Mm-hmm. And then don't try me because I will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a clap back.
Absolutely.
Every now and then I find myself, though, thinking, especially when I was on my Asia journey, and I wanted to clap back at that lady at the airport.
At the airport? Oh, Lord. Yeah, I was like, please don't get stuck over there. We can't help you.
I think that taught me that sometimes I should just stay quiet. It's not necessary to give people the energy that they give you. So that is something that I learned last year. But for the most part, I'm a clap back unless I feel like I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know why that just came upon me. I just need to learn how to say things better in life. Because a lot of times I mean well, and it doesn't come across that way. And as you know, sometimes I have to send you messages and say, is this okay to say? Because my heart is in the right place, but I feel like I still have to be stern with my boundaries. So it's quite interesting.
I think it's a skill. And
It
it's
sure
a skill
is.
that I do have, because you're not the only person that comes to me and be like, can you rewrite this email? Read this again and make sure that this sounds right. So it's something that I've been asked to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe it's a skill in order to say things in a politically correct,
Tasteful way.
yeah. Like you're getting your message across, but at the same time, it's very hard for someone to take it personally because you're saying it nicely,
Mm-hmm.
but they know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just said in a different way. And I do
Yeah.
feel like, and I've heard somebody say this, like, it's easier, like, not to poison someone or to get somebody to do something when you put it in a nice package.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people aren't just going to take poison and take it. But if
Yeah.
it's in something that
if
is
it's mixed with something.
a little more palatable, they're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you should go poison anyone.
Right.
But people are more prone to do things when it's packaged the right way. I think I get that from being a team lead and managing people.
And what I say, I don't want to team lead or manage anybody. So therefore, this is the message I'm trying to get across. This is the goal. Read between the lines.
But that's not how it works when you have people you have a team of people. Say you have 15 people on your team.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different personalities.
I know.
They all receive messages in different ways. So I think I've learned how to talk to different people based on who they are and what works for them.
Yeah. Because even how you said the first impression that people get from me, that's across the board. And it's like, technically I really am nice. But I guess sometimes the way I say things, it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. It's like, wait, I said something nice. Like, what do you mean? But I was just being
how you said it.
right. It was straightforward. And it's like, it wasn't packaged nicely. But
yeah. I mean, I feel like I used to come off really mean too as a person, but I think I've changed over the years, obviously, because of the different roles that I've had in my lifetime. So I think I look at things a little bit differently, which is where I can be like, you don't have to say it like that. You could have said this instead, and it would have got the same result that you
maybe
were
I'll
looking
do
for.
a team lead training.
Yeah,
without
I mean,
being a
we've
team
had
lead.
to. We've had to go through leadership and management training.
Maybe I'll do that and still won't manage people, but I'll become better in personal relationships with that and new encounters.
Absolutely. All right. If we had to go on a reality show together, which one would it be and why?
I would like to do something more so like educational, like Family Feud or something like that, because we can think and have knowledge and, experience life and winning the money. That's something I would like to do. So it wouldn't even be on a more ratchet side of the TV. Like, if it was more like a show, I'd say Golden Girls. Like, that was my show. When I got to college, I would watch it all the time.
I swear, you and Stephanie are the same person, because that is her show.
Shout out to Stephanie.
Lord.
But, yes.
I was thinking, what's the show where it's like Amazing Race? Where they have to do challenges and work together. Like, I think we should do something like that. I feel like that would test our, like, how we argue a lot about the stupidest things. Like, I feel like just going through that experience and trying to solve things together would be beneficial for both of us.
I like
that.
that.
I think something like that would be amazing.
That would help with growth, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I would think like, all right, we're strong. You want this way, I want this way. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? As long as you take math, if there's anything math related, you just take it.
Oh gosh.
Or can I phone a friend?
Yeah,
No, but definitely
doing
doing those puzzles and things like that and just working together for those challenges. I do think that would be very beneficial for that.
Okay. Who would survive longer in a zombie apocalypse and why?
I think you. I was kicked out of Girl Scouts. So my life survival skills. And I would say because you grew up like in the country and stuff like that, you would be very great in those areas. You saw when I came to Jamaica, you had me hanging towels on the line. Excuse me, what? No. I don't even want to do stuff like that. So, no, luxury me, please, all day. So I think you would win.
Which one of us is most likely to start drama in a group chat?
Me.
100% hands down. You would be the one in the group chat starting the drama.
Wow, like that? Am I the drama?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the drama.
No, I mean, like, I feel like between us two, you are 100% more dramatic than me. That's why Jax is the way that he is.
Wow. Don't, not too much on my son.
That's our son.
Well, you shouldn't have thrown him under the bus like that.
Jackson be dramatic sometimes.
Anyway,
I wonder where he got that from.
The cancer trait, probably. But anyway.
Doubt it.
But yeah, it would definitely be me. And I think it would go too because of the way I say things and the way it's received.
All right. What's something I've taught you without even knowing that I've taught you that thing?
I would say being selfless, even though you're shifting into a more selfish role, which isn't a bad thing, but being selfless and like looking at what other people can benefit or do, like how can I make this person's life better, or just the volunteering, things like that, and just passing that on to my children. Like those are definitely great traits. And I would say that worker bee, even though I haven't fully picked it up, is definitely something that to look at and admire about you. So
I know I've talked to you about this, but this is definitely something that I have learned from you. And you mentioned it earlier about being able to, even when you are in a fire, still find some joy or a way to enjoy life, even though everything around you is burning down.
Oh, fire.
Like, I don't know. That's a skill that you got that, because I don't know how you do it. I'm trying to learn to, and I've mastered a little bit of it on my trip to Asia. I swear that trip was like the best thing that ever happened to my life. But whenever something goes wrong, I tend to focus on fixing the problem and like all of that I forget to take a moment to be like, you know what? This problem can just sit for a little second while I go over here and have a drink and relax. And that happened to me when I was in South Korea. And I did not get my visa for Vietnam fast enough.
Yeah, so you couldn't travel.
Right, and I was stuck in the airport. So my flight for Vietnam left, and I had to figure out where I was going to go. Was I going to stay in South Korea, or was I going to go somewhere else? And I had to like figure everything out within like hours. The people at the airport, of course, there's that language barrier already there. So it's hard for us to communicate, and they were not very nice. Like, obviously, I'm stuck here. Can you give me some resources so that I can reach out to the airline, book another flight somewhere, figure out which country I could go to that either don't require a visa or I already have a visa for. Just help me. And it was so early in the morning, too, like a lot of the places weren't open. So I was sitting at the airport, and I remember being on my iPad trying to figure out, all right, where am I going to go? Like, game planning my next move.
Yeah.
And typically I probably would have been frustrated because I probably would have cussed the people at the counter out first. That would have been the first.
Right, that's the first stop.
Because y'all not about to be playing with me.
Yeah.
So just that experience showed me that, you know what, it's okay to take a break, because in the midst of all of that, like I sat there for hours, and really there wasn't. I couldn't call anyone. There was nothing I could do. So I was like, you know what? Let me go find a restaurant.
Exactly.
Let me go get some food. Let me get me a drink, and let me just chill.
Yeah.
Instead of getting upset. So that's what I did. I went upstairs to the restaurants. I found somewhere nice to sit down and eat. I had a nice meal. I had some drinks. And then after a while, I was like, okay, Now let me go back downstairs and pick
Yeah.
up where I left off. Let me go to these other airlines. And I literally walked to different airlines, found out where they go, how much they cost, and till I found something and I booked a flight and I ended up going to Laos. And I'm like, that was the first time I was able to just stop,
Yeah.
put the problem to the side,
Yeah.
go focus on doing something happy, and then come back to the problem.
Exactly.
Because that's not me. There's a problem, I'm fixing the problem by
And you can
whatever
drive
means.
yourself crazy, like trying to, because you can't always solve it right then and there. So it's like, okay, are you going to mess up your trip from this small amount of time? You were gone for over a month. So it's like, are you going to let this moment ruin all of this? Like, okay, guess what? You still can't leave right now. So now what?
I still got to sit there.
You still
I
have
got to
to
sit
sit
there
there.
mad, or I can sit here and be peaceful.
Absolutely. So good for you.
What's your favorite thing about me that never changed throughout our whole entire 22 years of friendship?
So it's a double-edged sword, right? So you're stubborn in a sense of you stand on what you believe in, right? So it would take, I can't even say Jesus himself to come down, but it would take a heck of a lot for you to shift in that space. And that's something that I teach my oldest daughter, Morgan, because she's super stubborn, but she's going to need it as an adult and as a brown girl. So I can't break her from this. She just has to know when to use it. So that's what I'm trying to teach her, when to use it, because you can't be like that across the board. But it's not all of a bad thing, because sometimes as Black women, we're taken advantage of, we're looked over and things like that. So if you stand your ground on what you believe in, that's going to push the ball forward for you instead of you having to stay in the background. So that's definitely, in that sense, a good trait to have.
I knew you were going to say that.
You did?
I knew you were
How?
going to, because it's something we talk about.
Okay.
But I knew it was coming.
Okay. You know it was going to show up somewhere in the conversation.
I knew it was coming when I asked this question.
Oh, okay.
Because that is the one thing that you could point out that, I mean, it is what it is. I don't even know how to change
You don't know
part.
if you want to change it yet.
I don't.
Right, see?
I like that aspect of myself. And sometimes it is not necessarily a good thing. And I'm learning, how to be a little bit more in the middle with certain things. But like you said, for the most part, I've had to be very, this is what it is. And I don't care what you say about certain things, because it has gotten me to where I am right now. So,
and that's why I said for my child, I don't try to break that from her. It can be annoying. I'm just trying to teach her when to use it, because it's like, you don't have to be like that all the time, sweetie. It's okay. But I cannot break her and then tell her to rise up as an adult. It starts when you're young.
absolutely.
What about for me?
Something about you that I feel like there's a couple things.
Okay.
And one of them is I don't want to say it's stubbornness about you either, but you do have that trait as well. Maybe not as bad as me.
For real, I ain't know. I promise you I ain't know.
We was talking about that today.
And I ain't know.
Or yesterday.
Right, and that was news to me.
Oh. Well, look, you're learning something by 40. Now you can work on
I've
that.
heard people say it, but I'm like, no, you just don't like how I'm saying something to you.
It's there. It's there. It's just not as bad as mine. But like you said, and it's the same thing. In certain times, that is necessary. And then in others, it might not, it could be right. Like in the instant we spoke about last night, it could be something that, you can work on. So it can make your life better and easier. And not saying that I can't work on it too, because it is something that I am working on. Yeah. Because I know I can be very stubborn. But the other thing, I do think that you loving friendship and having people close and talking and all of that, like, I think that's something else that's never really changed. Like, that's who you are.
Yeah, I think the only child in me created that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't, well, I'm sorry, I do have 2 siblings, but we're 15 and 22 years apart. So as far as growing up in a house, I was only in a house for 3 years with my sister. So having that sense of someone there to kind of grow with you, it's almost like a empty feeling. So that's why I create these. That's why friendship and family and stuff is important to me. And for the most part, I feel like I'm always the one reaching out to say, hey, you good? Everything? Just doing those check-ins. And sometimes I get in the way and I'm like, I'm not texting or calling anybody. Because
That's that stubborn part.
Possibly, but it's like if you stop calling and texting, is that person going to call and check up on you to make sure you're okay? And that's where you kind of learn certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more so of it, not the stubborn part, but just okay. You want to check in on me too?
Agree.
But yeah, so that's.
I know you've called me out on not calling as much as I should sometimes, but it's not even that I don't love and care about you or anything. I mean,
Right,
you know
and
that.
I agree. Yeah,
right. It's not in me to
yeah,
just
you're not a
automatically
caller
do that.
like that. Because when I do call you, you'll stay on the phone for hours. Like I said, you're held hostage with a lot of us, and that's okay.
But I don't mind. Like, once you get me on the phone,
Right.
I'm okay. It's the getting me on the phone that's the problem. But trust me when I say this. It's something that I'm cognizant of. It's like if there's a week that goes by, like, yeah, we might text or we might send things on social media sometimes or whatever. But if I don't get a phone call from you or a text message multiple times, then I'm like, I need to call Tamara. So
that must mean I'm busy.
right. Or you're traveling or something is going on. So I know, okay, she has not called me. I need to call her.
Exactly.
So I definitely get that part. And trust me when I say I think about it, because I honestly think about it because of you. Because I really don't do that with a lot of people.
I'm the needy friend.
Yeah.
It's okay.
How would you describe our friendship in 3 words?
Oh, God. Ride or die. I would definitely say ride or die.
Okay. I would say honest.
Oh, I did a phrase.
No, ride or die is fine. That's 3
Okay.
words. You did it
Okay.
your way. You don't have to do it my way.
Oh, I was like, did I do the assignment wrong? Let me go back.
No, you understood the assignment.
Okay,
It's 3
okay.
words, ride or die.
Okay.
3 words.
Okay.
I'm just doing it Jackie's way.
Okay.
Which is, I do feel like our relationship and our friendship is based on honesty and trust and love. So those are 3 words that I would use to describe our friendship.
I like it.
Now, what is our ultimate theme song as friends? What is one song that comes to mind when you think about our friendship?
Jeez Louise. A theme song that reminds me of our friendship? I mean, it's cliche, but definitely Brandy, best friend. That's definitely what comes to mind because it's like the words that she sang. First of all, Brandy is an amazing singer. Like, I still listen to Never Say Never album. But I would say that for sure. Just the words that she speaks about. Of course, it's from the 90s, but, I'm stuck in the 90s, early 2000s with music anyway. But, yeah, that's what comes to mind.
I was going to say, you're definitely an R&B person, so I'm not expecting that different. But when I thought about this, I know this is horrible. But
Sweet Home Alabama or
girl,
or
I literally started thinking about all
the
all
ringtones. That's what was
I had for
that's
you.
what was coming.
But I thought about the fact that I used to have names in my phone for you all the time.
Junkyard Janice.
Junkyard Janice was Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, and then what was the one with the? Oh shoot, what was the name? It was something disgusting, something to do with something sexual.
I was gonna say the next one that comes to mind. A lot of it is from college days, I feel like, but Remember when I didn't know what certain words meant?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
yes,
think
to
of.
the windows, to the wall.
Yes.
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 That came to mind. And then, of course, Nuck if you buck.
Of course. Of course.
I thought you were going to say, because remember you hated the fact that I used to repeat songs in the car all the time.
That's, you talking about that song when we were going to Atlantic City?
No, not that time. But you played it the other day when we got in the car.
What song was it?
Clubbing.
Oh yeah, that definitely reminds me of you, hands down.
That was
your song.
Jam.
Absolutely.
Like when
hands
I think
down.
back at college days, I remember riding in my little Altima, my black Altima, just bumping the mess out of that Marcus Houston song.
Yep, that was definitely your song, hands down.
Every time I hear it now, even though it has to do with R. Kelly, I still be like,
shout out.
Don't you dare
to my
shout
boo.
that.
I'm coming to Chicago next month. Put me on the visitation list.
She want to get peed on.
From the neck down. I'm kidding. Next question.
I can never get over the fact that is one thing that we will never, ever in life agree on. Your love for R. Kelly.
Yeah, I agree. We are polar opposites with that. And what'd you say? Stubborn, staying 10 toes down. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I agreed with the things that he was doing, but I still listen to his music.
So before we end, what would you like to see the next 40 years of our friendship to look like?
Whew, more travel for sure. More growth from both of us as we enter into this next chapter. Open communication to stay the same, and just more happy moments, I would say.
I can agree with that. I definitely think the next 40 years should see us, the kids are grown, having their own lives. And again, we can reconnect more because you got more free time.
Mm-hmm. You being my bridesmaid.
Got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, of course, maybe some couples trips to somewhere in the world.
Yes. Put down the atmosphere.
Yes. By then we'll be older, so work should be less of a priority and more so enjoying life. So I would love to see us in that phase where we get to sit in a rocking chair somewhere and just laugh about all these things that we've done.
Absolutely.
Throughout our friendship. So
cheers to that.
I think that friendship in our 40s is going to be amazing. I think the fact that we're at a point in our lives where we can start to prioritize having a smaller circle versus trying to bring people in. I think this is a time where bonding will be great for both of us. So looking forward to 40 more years. Thank
Cheers
you
to that.
so much for joining me on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
So fun. And guys, thank you for watching this episode with us. I will catch you in the next episode. Don't forget to like, share, leave some comments, and subscribe, of course. Until next time, bye.
Bye.